Hi, a film I watched this week, having been looking forward to seeing it for some time, was Weird, the Al Yankovic story, a parody biopic co-written and co-produced by Weird Al Yankovic himself, the American musical comedian, who since the 1980s has become a cult figure and a breakthrough mainstream figure with several Grammy wins for producing parodies of popular songs and eventually blossoming into parodies of folk music styles in general. He's a beloved American cultural figure. So finally having the story of his life immortalized in film is the next step. The film, however, is more geared towards being a parody of such prestige pictures as Bohemian Rhapsody. So it starts with Yankovic as a young child discovering the accordion, discovering the idea of writing new lyrics to a song that already has lyrics, and his parents tell him that he can't possibly do that, and he's just going to have to give up that thing that he enjoys the most. Um, these scenes are played totally straight and totally serious, and it really underlines how badly written so many of these biopics are. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is a flat out terrible movie. Yankovic himself is played by Daniel Radcliffe, who won the role after performing Tom Lehrer's Elements song on the Graham Norton show. And he manages to tread that fine line of playing it totally serious, but still there being some edge of understanding how ridiculous it was. As the story unfolds, it becomes more and more loosely related to Yankovic's actual life. So we see him write his first song, become a radio hit on local radio, and managing to uh, attract the interest of DJ Dr Demento, who becomes his mentor. All these things are true, but then the story starts going off in bizarre directions, like the story of his relationship with Madonna and his taking over of a Colombian drug cartel. The film, I won't say how the film ends, but it gets to a point where you have to wonder exactly how much of this could possibly be related to reality, and the answer is almost nothing. I found it hugely enjoyable. It's extremely funny. It requires a cursory knowledge of Yankovic's life, I think, to make sense, but you would think you would know if a lot of it actually happened because it would have been in the news. Um, the elevation of Yankovic in the story to being the greatest musical recording artist who ever lived is, I think, extremely modest on his part because it's an acknowledgement that he hasn't had the colossal global success that he does in the film. Um, so parodying himself as being hugely successful, I think, is an act of um, acknowledging his not lack of it, but his limited reach. Um, the performances are excellent across the board. Daniel Radcliffe is superb as Yankovic. Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna is both a note perfect impersonation of her 80s incarnation, but also a sly, cruel parody of supposed Yoko Ono ish type interfering girlfriends who are um, hang on to a singer at the peak of their success, much to the disappointment of their bandmates and family. Um, it's a very cleverly written script, brilliantly performed. I laughed all the way through. As I said, it's a film that's perhaps difficult to get into if you're not aware of Yankovic's work or some of the finer points of his biography. And another big problem is actually availability. To date, the film has only been released in the US and the UK. It's exclusive to the Roku channel, which in the UK at least is accessible through Roku streaming devices, Now TV and Sky Q, which is how I was able to watch it. It's included for free and with advertising. Um, Yankovic has said that for those who are living in areas where the film hasn't been released, I can't remember his exact words, but it was something on the lines of that he expects people will have a torrent of ideas of how to get hold of the movie. But I recommend seeing it. It's a delightfully bizarre concoction and very entertaining.